At 81 years old, I've lived through wars, watched the world change in ways I never imagined, and raised a family I'm proud of. But if there's one chapter in my life that came with unexpected lessons, it was the decision to move into a nursing home. I didn't expect to share this publicly, but after sitting with these thoughts for years, I've realized if my story can help even one person pause and reconsider, it's worth telling. When I moved in, I thought I was doing what was best, what was responsible. My kids were concerned about my safety. I didn't want to be a burden. And honestly, I was tired. I thought maybe, just maybe, this would be easier. But the truth is, that move changed everything. If you're considering a nursing home, either for yourself or someone you love, please listen closely. I'm going to share 6 things I wish I had understood before I made the leap. These aren't easy truths, but they are real ones. Please stay with me until the end, because what I learned could spare you years of regret. 1. Independence isn't just about big decisions. What surprised me the most wasn't the small space or scheduled meals. It was the way I slowly stopped making choices that used to define me. Back at home, I had the freedom to decide when I wanted tea or what radio station to play in the morning. I could step outside just to feel the breeze or stay up late, finishing a book I loved. Inside the nursing home, those freedoms slipped away quietly. Breakfast at 7, whether you're hungry or not. Lights out by 9. Walks only if someone's available to assist. Even wearing a certain sweater required asking for help to reach the top shelf. You don't realize how much your life is shaped by little decisions until you can't make them anymore. No one took away my rights maliciously. It's just how the system works. Structure is necessary, they say. But it came at the cost of my autonomy. And when you lose those small freedoms, you lose a part of yourself too. 2. People move on faster than you think. I remember the day I moved in. My kids were kind, supportive, even cheerful, probably trying to hide how emotional it really was. My daughter promised she'd visit every Thursday. My son said he'd stop by with the grandkids every other weekend, and for a while they did. But life is busy. Thursdays turned into quick phone calls. Weekends became maybe next time. I understood. They have lives of their own. But understanding it didn't make the loneliness any easier. You start to fade from the rhythm of everyday life. You miss birthdays, barbecues, and the casual moments that make a family feel like a family. In here, time moves differently. Every day feels like a week, and waiting for visitors becomes part of the routine. The silence, it's louder than I ever expected. It's not that they stopped loving me, it's just that I'm not in front of them anymore. Out of sight. Well, you know the rest. Purpose doesn't retire. Before I moved in, my days were filled with small responsibilities that gave my life shape. Watering the plants, feeding the cat, folding laundry while my favorite show played in the background. They were little things, but they were mine. Here, everything is done for me. Meals, laundry, cleaning, it's all handled. And while that sounds like relief, it quickly became restlessness. I started asking myself, what am I for now? There was a woman here, Margaret, a former school principal, sharp as ever. She used to tutor neighborhood kids back home. After she moved in, she said something that stuck with me. I used to be someone people needed. Now I'm someone people check on. Purpose doesn't need to be grand, but we all need to feel useful. When that feeling disappears, so does a piece of our vitality. 4. Your body responds to your environment. Before I moved, I walked daily. I cooked light meals, swept my porch, did my own laundry. After just a few months here, I noticed changes. I wasn't walking as much. My legs started to stiffen. I felt weaker, slower. Everything I used to do for myself was now done to me, or for me. And while I appreciated the care, it quietly chipped away at my strength. There's something called learned helplessness, and it's real. I've watched others here go through it too. A neighbor named Frank used to get around fine with a cane. Now he barely stands without assistance. Not because he's incapable, but because over time, The body adapts to doing less. If you stop using your muscles, they forget what they're for. Physical independence doesn't just decline with age, it declines with lack of use. 5. Privacy becomes a distant memory. At home, I could shut the bathroom door and know no one would come in. I could change clothes without feeling exposed. I could cry without anyone watching. But here, privacy is a convenience, not a right. Room checks, shared spaces, unexpected interruptions. It's all part of the routine. I share a room with another resident now. She's kind, but even kindness can't replace solitude. I remember trying to explain to a staff member that I just wanted 5 minutes alone after a difficult phone call. She smiled and nodded, but came in moments later to check my vitals. It wasn't her fault, it's just protocol. But when your dignity is routinely bypassed for efficiency, it does something to your spirit. 6. Leaving isn't as simple as it sounds. When I first moved in, I told myself it wasn't permanent. Just until I get back on my feet, I said. But then time passed. My home went up for rent. My possessions were given away. My medical files were updated to reflect long-term care. Suddenly, leaving felt less like a decision and more like a fantasy. I wasn't as strong as I had been. I needed more help with things I once did myself. My finances had adjusted to accommodate facility costs. And when I brought up the idea of going back home, I was met with concerned looks and cautious questions. Are you sure that's a good idea? Wouldn't it be safer here? We just want what's best for you. I felt like I had walked into a revolving door that only spun one way. And I realized, for most people, moving into a nursing home isn't just a change. It's a point of no return. Final thoughts. A message for anyone facing this choice. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying every nursing home is terrible. Some provide vital care, community, and peace of mind, especially for those with serious medical needs. But what I am saying is this: before you make this move, think deeply. Ask yourself, am I choosing this because it's truly necessary? Or because it feels like the simplest option right now? Am I willing to give up my routines, my space, my autonomy for safety? And most importantly, is there another way? Could a little help at home, or community support, or even a downsized living arrangement offer a better middle ground? If I could go back, I would have tried everything else first. Because once you give up your life for the sake of ease, you might find yourself looking back and wishing you'd held on just a little longer. Thank you for staying with me through this reflection. If something here struck a chord, I invite you to share it. Leave a comment. Let others know they're not alone. Tell us what you've learned from your experience or what you plan to do differently. And if you found this helpful, consider liking and subscribing. It helps us reach others who might be facing the same difficult decisions. Your voice matters. Take care, and whatever path you choose, make sure it's one you can live with, not just exist in.